The music goes so much deeper than I can explain to anybody. So, and a life without music is an absolute impossibility.
In a sense, this historic next season of the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra started 117 years ago when a very talented, very determined Dutch musician arrived in St. Louis from his native Holland and pulled together a group of local musicians who, under his own inspiration, created a small but vital choral society that would one day become a far-reaching force for music and culture in this city on the Mississippi. Before long, Joseph Otten's St. Louis Choral Society evolved into the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. And over the next 100 years, it grew up along with the city itself, all the while treating St. Louisans to a caliber of musical performance that few cities of its size ever get to know. The St. Louis Symphony Orchestra provided St. Louis with regular opportunities to see and hear the legendary musical figures of the 20th century. Composers like Rachmaninoff, Prokofiev, Bernstein, Stravinsky, soloists like Serkin, Horowitz, Chrysler, and then there were the conductors, the great ones. There were two kinds of great conductors that St. Louisans came to know. The big names who would come through town to conduct the St. Louis Symphony, and the big names who were the conductors of the St. Louis Symphony. Over 116 years, they passed the baton one to the other, building a rich, strong musical tradition that would ultimately be known the world over. Conductors like Maestro Max Sach, credited with first taking the St. Louis Symphony to the national stage, establishing it among the top American orchestras. Maestro Vladimir Goldsman, who introduced the orchestra to world-renowned Carnegie Hall and the critical acclaim of New York's musical elite. Maestro Walter Susskind, who upgraded the talent to build an orchestra that would be poised to take on the international stage. And Maestro Leonard Slatkin, who conquered it.
After my second visit to St. Louis, I went to my manager in New York, and I told her, if I ever want to become music director in America, please let it be St. Louis.
And now, 117 years after one inspired Dutchman started this tradition, another comes to continue it. Maestro Hans Vonk.
St. Louis Orchestra is very open-minded, and it's a joy to work with them just because of that, they're fantastic musicians.
With this man, it's electric.
I find that personally, I am playing very well when he's here. He brings out the best.
He creates monumental performances, every one.
The audience is going to be in for something really wonderful because he's thoughtful and elegant, and he's got a great deal of passion that he brings to the music.
It's really, really on the edge of your chair expectancy, and we're excited about that.
Maestro Hans Vonk comes to St. Louis as an established international figure, a prominent conductor in the European tradition, with a reputation built on years performing with Europe's premier orchestras. The Dresden Staatskapelle, the Cologne Radio Orchestra, the Concertgebouw, the Residency Orchestra in The Hague.
My father used to be a violin player in the Concertgebouw Orchestra in Amsterdam. And I remember from my earliest youth that music was always a part of my life. I started improvising and composing on the piano when I was 4 or 5 years old. Music has always been something natural to me. Something like breathing or drinking, eating, or whatever. It's a natural thing. from time I can remember.
Not all that he's giving as a signal comes from the stick. I can read the eyes, the body language. There's an inner intensity that that I find very exciting.
He brings out things in the symphony that I wasn't aware of. Certain inner voices or certain dynamics and certain tempos that are different from what I've played before, and they made so much sense to me.
We're excited about him and the kind of concert he produces as a result of his consistency and clarity. His interpretation, his dynamic levels, his tempi.
You will hear Tchaikovsky and Brahms and Mozart in ways that you have never heard them before. He has a great insight into music, the music we're playing. He has also a great deal of depth to bring to the music. And part of that depth, I think, is coming out, bringing out the different colors in the music. The inner voices will become much more important. Balance is very important. It's going to be a wonderful time of, again, growing, us experiencing and learning what Maestro Vonk has to share with us.
I am looking forward to Maestro Vonk coming here because we always look to the podium to learn. And now with Maestro Vonk coming here, I feel that as a violinist, there's a lot that he can teach me.
The strings react to Maestro Vonk in a very special way. It has something to do with just the way you respond to his conducting, his chemistry, his personality on the podium. It reaches a very highly refined level under his baton.
The only thing which speaks is the language of your hands. You should be able, with your hands, to express what you want. It's only in the hands. Maybe also in the eyes. I don't know. It's one of the mysteries of conducting.
Next season, I'm really excited about the opening weekend concert where we're playing Beethoven's Ninth with Maestro Vonk, and I'm sure it will be a huge success and a celebration of his new appointment. I'm especially looking forward to having an opportunity to play the concert version of Mozart's Don Giovanni with Maestro Vonk conducting, and I'm sure that's going to be an incredible interpretation given his strong background in opera.
Ravel, Debussy on the programs for next season, and those things I'm looking forward to very much, in addition to the complete Firebird that we're doing here and in Carnegie Hall next year. We have not been exposed to much in the way of contemporary European repertoire, and I think that with Mr. Vonk we will.
Maestro Vonk is most definitely European in his background and training, but he comes with an incredibly eclectic, varied mix of repertoire strengths.
I'm so excited about everything coming on. It's going to be a great season.
St. Louis Symphony is much more than just an orchestra performing on a stage. It's become much more a nucleus for musical activity in the entire city of St. Louis, whether it be in the unison program of performing in a church on Sunday morning in the inner city or teaching lessons over at the music school. I find that I'm reaching out to a vast, broad audience. It has to do with children, has to do with the community. With the new season is going to be completely different, utterly exciting, and probably one of the most important years in the symphony's ongoing history.
I knew that Hans would be very happy in America, but it had to be a special orchestra. Otherwise, I mean, he has enough work in Europe, and it had to be really special.
A very special orchestra. Very special time. Join Maestro Hans Vonk and the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra for their 117th season. Be there at the beginning of this exciting next chapter of the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra.
What I'm looking for is to make the best possible music. And I think I found it at last in St. Louis.
Thank you for sharing our celebration of Maestro Hans Vonk's inaugural season. We are pleased to present this exclusive offer for video watchers only. Mention this video when ordering your season tickets and receive complimentary tickets to experience the magic of Maestro Vonk as he leads the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and Chorus in rehearsal of Mozart's Don Giovanni. Call 533-2500 to order your tickets today.